Sammy made it.
Let's go.
YSK London, Bevis again, living my best life, and I hope you're living yours too. Today we have the legendary, the Vanquisher of all enemies, past and present, Mr. Anthony King Vanquish. Introduce yourself, my friend.
So, my name is Anthony Odell, also known as the Vanquisher. I am a strength and conditioning coach / performance architect and performance architect. So what that means, basically, it's the practical application of sports science, primarily looking at injury prevention and performance enhancement. So whilst I work in a gym and people might think I'm a personal trainer, my role is slightly different. In the UK, there aren't as many strength and conditioning coaches. It's starting to pick up a bit more, but typically the ones that are over here work primarily with elite athletes. My take is I take it to the masses. So I train everyday people like elite athletes.
And when did you start Vanquish?
So I started it 3 years ago now. The way it started was after being told by my youngest daughter that my arms were looking good, but my belly was not. I had to look at myself. I had to, check myself.
I have to check myself as well. It's all right.
Yeah, so I had to, went on a couple of little journeys, did insanity, did a load of different things, just trying to get myself back in shape, hit the gym. But whilst I was there, what I was noticing was that lots of people were in the gym as often as I was, but obviously didn't know what they were doing. Having a few conversations with people and just giving them a bit of advice, I realized that actually there's a real need for someone to step in and advise.
Yeah, because for those who don't know, I actually attended a session in my jeans and still did a little 1-2, and we had a conversation about that and about how there seems to be a lot of personal trainers nowadays. Someone learns a new routine and then decides to become a personal trainer and tell their friend the wrong information. And I gave an example of me where I've always been told to arch my back a certain way, but I'm 6'1", 16, maybe stroke 17 stone, and I can't bend my back the same way another person can bend their back. And we discussed how that can lead to a lot of injuries with people when they think they're doing the right thing and they're not doing the right thing. And from what I took with Vanquish is that it's the education of training for everybody.
Yeah.
Instead of a single person.
Indeed. So, I think that we're all individuals, and some trainers will try to teach everyone the same method. And quite often that's because that's the method that they were taught for themselves. And I think that if you can step back and realize that everyone's body is built differently, everyone's proportions are different, you're going to have to tailor your approach to each of those people. Otherwise, someone's going to get hurt. Most people, there are two reasons why people quit the gym. The number one is because they injure themselves, and that's due to poor instruction. One of the things, especially for young people going into the gym, you go in, you see someone doing a move, you think, that looks good. And then you try to do it, but you don't know what you're doing. And then obviously there's ego, and I just want to throw a lot of weight around,
trying to push the 150 kg.
Exactly. With very little form. And at first, for most people, you'll start to see gains even with bad form, because your body's primed for it. But after a while, that repetitive, you're going to wear your body down. There are loads of people who, as they get to their 30s, 40s, they can't even lift weight anymore. They're just broken. and then they start to pile on the weight. They don't know what to do. I suppose my plan is that you build a sustainable approach, use a strategy that you can use for the rest of your life.
Also today, when I came down and watched you guys work, I could see there was a family vibe and a family feeling within the whole group. And I wanted to ask you how you incorporate the kind of family setting in the training scenario, so in the gym scenario, because it's not something you always see.
Yeah, it's true. So I suppose for me, family's first. That's what it is. And when I started to work out, I decided that it didn't make sense for me to be fit, but for my wife not to be. I don't know what that is. That's not a good look, because otherwise it means that I get to a certain age and I got it, and then she's struggling. So it was a conscious decision. At first she was like, I'm not really on it. But I was like, hun, that doesn't work. We can't, we cannot have different pathways. We've got to get there at the same point. So that was that. And I think that by modeling activity and fitness, my kids, they see it and they think, it's just normal for them. They don't even think twice about it. But for other people coming into it, I think that if you're comfortable to make mistakes, to learn, anything can be achieved. So the Vanquish family has my family in it, my actual family, but everybody else, we're all family, because after you've done certain things and you're in a pile of sweat on the floor, then there's a commonality and there's a camaraderie. You can look over to someone, look in their eyes, and they know the pain you've felt. Do you understand? A lot of the stuff in the gym is normally very individual. It's very, just me. Yeah. And even whether it's advice or asking questions, it's almost like an unwritten law. You just don't do it. Or you expect your head to be bitten off. What we do is hard work. Like the people in the Vanquish squad, they could take on anyone in any move. But we do it with a smile on our faces. And, I genuinely think they enjoy what they do.
I want to ask you quickly about how important it is to raise athletes, but not just physically, mentally as well.
So for me, I think that one of the first things we do, in particular because I do online coaching as well, the first thing we do is we look at mindset. So we look at, we dig deep into what is the motivation, why are you doing this? And then we also unpick some of the stuff that people probably don't even realize can sometimes affect them. I think that if you're going to make it as a person, you're going to come across loads of different types of characters. And some people are going to test you, like really test everything you've got. But I think that if you're self-assured, I think if you're confident, plus if you're physically strong, you don't feel challenged. You don't feel threatened by them, because I think threats normally manifest themselves in an area of weakness. So I think that if I can build their strength physically, then it gives them a personal confidence. When they've got their personal confidence, then we can start to look at any dangerous negative self-talk, because that's what it normally is. And that kind of leads to my little slogan. My little slogan is tell your body to shut up, because quite often people can do more physically than their minds will allow them to do. So what we do is we talk about, they say I can't do it, but when they can, I say, okay, so what does that mean now? What does that mean for you now? If you couldn't do it, but now you've just done it, what does that mean? And it just gets them to reevaluate everything. So I think that, like you said, the mental and the physical, they're not separate. They're not. I like to talk about mental fitness. You'll hear people talk about mental health, and it's normally a negative connotation. But we all understand that fitness can be improved. And I think that mental fitness can definitely be improved. So when you've been through tough physical situations and when you've overcome them, it just changes the possibilities of life. If you've run 800 meters but you never thought you could, it changes things. If you've run 11 seconds or 100 meters in 11 seconds and you always thought you were slow, then it changes things and you realize actually I can improve. And I think life should constantly be an improvement.
You touched on the online aspect. Do you want to elaborate more on that? Because I'm sure there's people watching that might not realize that they don't necessarily have to go to the gym or even necessarily be in a group setting if that's not what they're into. So I want to just elaborate more on the online.
Yeah. So in addition to, I do what we call semi-private groups, which are small setting groups. But what I discovered quite quickly was that not everyone is a member of a gym, can make it to a gym, but they still have the same fitness goals. But what they lack is the accountability. So what they need is someone to support, someone to give them a plan. So this week, do this. I'll check in with you this amount of times to give them feedback on what they've been doing. So what's interesting is even if you had a personal trainer, an online coach could still supplement that. So whether you're going to the gym 6 days a week, 7 days a week, and you have a personal trainer during that time, if you think about twice a week, how many, 2 hours in a week, people fail with the time when they're not in the gym. Do you understand what I'm saying? I could go to the gym and have personal training sessions and go all out, but then the rest of the week, what do I do? And if, I come back, maybe the day before I've got my session, maybe I start thinking, I've got to try to get myself ready again. And then people beat themselves up because they feel like, I let myself down.
Because they just haven't been able to go.
Yeah. And it's the accountability. So basically my own online coaching provides basic nutritional advice. I don't do food plans as such. I just give people good advice on eating real whole foods, increasing their water intake. We talk about different eating protocols. So there are loads out there, keto diet, intermittent fasting. There's loads of things, and they all work. The question is which one will work for you, and which one can you sustain? Because the other thing I discovered was a load of people like to do fitness for a project, whether it's January the 1st, or whether it's there's a wedding coming up, or I've got a holiday planned, or any of those things. What we're looking at is after that project, what happens? And most people pile on the pounds, and then they have to start again. And it's so the online coaching can be year round, and it can be constant accountability, and you're basically part of a group, a tribe that keeps you safe, So it's called Reconnect. And most people get disconnected from their friendship groups or family. You might move to a new job and everything that was working well is different now. So Reconnect allows you to tie into something that gives you that community spirit. So it's like being in the gym, but not being in the gym. You can share your challenges, get some feedback, get people to comment and stuff like that. So so that's basically what we do.
Is it like an app or a website?
So there are different levels and layers. Most of it is done through an app on your phone. You can access it through a website as well. But
is the app called Reconnect?
So the app is called Coach Now. Okay. And
so you
the
can
program,
download that.
the actual program is called, or my program is called Reconnect. So it means that they can get 24 hours a day. They can get instant feedback, and it just makes it. We try to take away all the barriers, because most people have reasons or excuses, which I just call lies. At the moment, I'm running a 14-day free program, because I've set myself a challenge to help 100 people within 30 days for free. So then after that, if they like what they get and they see a value for it, then they can sign up to the process.
Do you know what number roughly right now, just in case people want to catch a freebie?
So I'm currently on 42. So there's a little bit of space, but it's filling up pretty quickly, But if you don't know what to do, if you'd like to get started, if you've been telling yourself you're going to get started, jump on. It's, we're changing lives. I'm changing lives. And To give you an example, we've got a lady who started off with 38-inch waist.
38.
5 months ago, she's down to a 31-inch waist now, and feeling the best she's felt for 10, 15 years. And the stories are like that, but it's not just, because we do body recomposition, it's not just losing weight. You might want to put on weight. You might want to become a bit more muscular. Yeah. Again, because of the way that I work, it's about you. It's not just a cookie cutter approach.
Do you want to discuss a little bit about your professional background and how you can kind of implement that into helping others?
Yeah, sure. So my training was in engineering. I studied electronic engineering. I've been a teacher of design and technology for the last this is going to be the 22nd year.
That's a good thing. It's not a bad thing.
No, definitely not. And teaching is my passion, which is why I think that when I approached fitness, I did it with a different flavor, because I'm a student at heart. I love to learn. I'm always looking at how this works and why this works. Most importantly, I think the way that I program sessions is probably different from the way the other people do it, because I'm stacking effects. I'm thinking this, I'm going to fatigue you with this exercise, and I'm going to build on it with this one, and I'm going to work your legs here, and I'm going to work your chest here, and I'm going to do these things. We do very little isolation work. We don't do chest day, leg day. We work legs pretty much every day. As you should. Do you understand? So we don't do the traditional kind of bro splits. But my teaching, I suppose, allows me to understand that not everyone's going to get it the first time, and I'm constantly looking at angles to help people to understand. One of the things I do with all of the athletes is we figure out like a trigger word. So for Ed, for example, is Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee.
So because as an aesthetic, that's something that he was aiming for. And when it gets hard, when the workout gets hard, I just look at him and say Bruce Lee. And because it relates to him specifically, then he can dig a little bit deeper and push. For some of the people that have got kids, I'll call the name of their child, and they'll be like, do you understand? We do rope exercises where they'll pull a rope, and I'll talk about things like, imagine if your child was at the end of this rope and they're saying, mummy, you can't let me die. And, I suppose in teaching, we call that differentiation. In the fitness world, I don't see it very often. This is the approach. You're doing this number of reps, this number of sets, get it done. End of. So I suppose my experience of teaching for 20 years has given me an appreciation for how to approach people, how to paint a picture that helps people to understand what we're trying to achieve.
What is the future for Vanquish? Where do you see Vanquish progressing in the future?
So I suppose there are two elements. I want to create an army of Vanquish people who can go to gyms independently because they've got good instruction and they can work. But in addition to that, there'll be Vanquish centers around the country, around the world. They'll be filled with people just like me, Vanquishers, who are highly trained and can help people change their lives. So I suppose the future is bright, bristling with muscle. It's fast.
And your gyms or your potential, let's just say your gyms, we're going to speak into existence.
Exactly.
They're also going to retain the same family feel and vibe of your classes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably the reason why most people don't go to the gym, is because it's a cold place. It's kind of unconnected. And I think that if I were gonna, when I open my gyms, they have to have that. That's going to be the DNA that runs throughout them, that separates them from other places, and means that people, whether they're 16 just starting the gym for the first time, or they're like my dad, 78 today, going back to the gym. There's room for everyone, to be stronger, to be faster, to be fitter. No excuses.
Well, Anthony, it's been a pleasure. We have to leave it there, but it's been really, really good talking to you. I feel like I've learned myself.
Thank you.
Hopefully I can come down to the classes.
Always welcome.
Even though I live in North London.
Always welcome.
I'm going to make the trek.
Yeah.
Do you want to give them your Instagram again? And all the information that you want to put out to people, so if they want to join.
At Vanquish All Enemies, go to the Instagram. The 14-day free trial is in the bio, so click that, and I'll be in contact with you if you're looking to make a change. If you need to make that change today, you've been saying it for a week, for a month, 5 years, then I'm the strategy. I'm the step. That's what I want to say. So at Vanquish All Enemies, click the link. You have a little look and see what we do. Yeah, it's hard, but it's not impossible. So get involved.
As I always say, live your best life every day. If you're not living your best life, then try to live it the next day. I'm Bev_the Baker. It's YSK_UK. Again, at Vanquish.
Or Enemies.
At Vanquish.
Or Enemies.
At Vanquish.
Or Enemies.
At Vanquish.
Or Enemies.
Come on. We're finished. We're over. See you later.